Hey everybody, so this is a follow-up help video to go along with your guys' work for today. While you read through Richard Wright's poem and annotate for imagery, you guys are going to be taking notes on the Google Doc that I've assigned to you. So you guys will notice on your Google Doc it gives you some helpful information. It reminds you what imagery is. It also reminds you of the words that we use for imagery or the different types of senses that imagery draws on. The directions are also there. It tells you to highlight words in the text that add imagery to the poem, and then in the column on the right, explain what can be seen, heard, smelled, tasted, or felt. So I highlighted the phrase grassy clearing guarded by scaly oaks and elms. On the right-hand side, I also went ahead and I put the note saying that you can see or smell a grassy clearing or field. You can also see the oak and elm trees and maybe even imagine how the wind might sound through the leaves, or even imagine how the tree bark might feel, since they describe it as scaly. I want to move on to the next example provided. It says a design of white bones and a cushion of ashes. We can see those bones. We can imagine what they would look like sitting on top of a pile of ash. We could also even imagine what that might smell like. We all know what the remains of smoke smells like, or what even ashes smell like if you've ever been to like a campfire or anything like that. So you can imagine those smells and those sights. We finally get to charred stump of a sapling pointing a blunt finger accusingly at the sky. There, we might not get much of a smell. It's been charred, so that means it's been burned. And so we can imagine what those burn marks or those char marks might look like on that sapling, which is a type of tree. And also imagine what that branch would look like then pointing towards the sky, because it says pointing a blunt finger accusingly at the sky. So to me, a blunt finger of a tree would have to be a tree branch. So here, when he opens the poem, he's really helping us get a view of what this scene looks like, sounds like, and smells like. He continues to go on in the poem. He says there were torn tree limbs, tiny veins of burnt leaves, and a scorched coil of greasy hemp, a vacant shoe, an empty tie, a ripped shirt, a lonely hat, and a pair of trousers stiff with black blood. And upon the trampled grass were buttons, dead matches, butt ends of cigars and cigarettes, peanut shells, a drained gin flask, and a whore's lipstick, scattered traces of tar, restless arrays of feathers, and the lingering smell of gasoline. And through the morning air the sun poured yellow surprise into the eye sockets of the stony skull. I'm going to pause there. In that whole chunk of text, Wright goes ahead and describes various things that you could see, that you could smell. He describes stuff that you could also maybe even feel. Go ahead and look through that section of text again, going from there were torn tree limbs all the way to stony skull. Take a look and see if you can find anything that you could see, anything that you could smell, or anything that you could feel. Go ahead, try. I bet you can do it. You guys are champs.